All right, guys, special treat. We've got Luis Andres Marino from Madrid, Hala Madrid. They are doing so well. And with Neymar gone from Barcelona, maybe Ronaldo and Bale will control the fortress there, and it'll be all left to Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez. No more MSN. The N is gone from MSN. I have to ask you, Luis, what are your thoughts on Neymar leaving Barcelona?
Mate, muy feliz. It's just, I didn't think it would actually happen, dude. Like, I don't know. He won so much, and I'm like, don't you get what? You just got sick of winning. But there you go. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand why. I understand in a way why he would leave, but I don't know. I think players loved winning. I just can't see him
yeah,
apart from winning the French league, and now it's more competitive. Uh, I don't think they can win a Champions League, dude. They have to strengthen so much.
So how do you think they'll replace Neymar? They've been talking about this player Dembele from Borussia
Dortmund.
Dortmund. He
Yeah.
looks like a really good player. Similar attributes to Neymar. Apparently, there was transfer rumors that Dembele can be brought into the team. Who do you think they should get to replace him?
Well, Dembele is definitely one of them. Coutinho as well. I mean, they have a lot of money to spend now. That's the good thing they've done in all of this. Because I mean, I wouldn't have let him go, man. But they have so much power nowadays that you don't really know what's going to happen. Like they literally have the door key. They have. I don't think power in the past, but I don't know. I think that Dembele, Madrid is going for him as well. Coutinho, I think Coutinho is the main one for me.
Yeah, so he's at Liverpool at the moment. Very talented Brazilian player, so the same nationality as Neymar. One of the things I think that attracted Neymar to PSG was the amount of Brazilian players actually at PSG. So you had Lucas, you had
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, probably a few more that I can't think of off the top of my head. But so he has some. Oh, Danny Alves, of course. So he's at PSG, is he not?
Yeah, he is, dude. So that's like three. That's like three players, dude.
Oh
But
yeah, say I said hello to your mum, by the way. I haven't said hello to her for
yeah,
a
yeah, no,
while.
I will. I will. She just didn't know
Yeah,
we were talking, but
that's cool.
later. But no, that's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons I would think. But again, dude, I just think I thought he wanted to win. It's just
Hasn't
like,
he already won at Barcelona though? Because he's already won the UEFA Champions League final and he's already won La Liga.
yeah,
I
but
reckon it was a good move, but I want to hear your thoughts.
it's just like a 50-50 move because it's good that he's looking for new challenges. But when I sense it more than anyone, I think. What any other person living outside Spain, because like, dude, the media over here is like, I've told you this before. Like they just constantly demand new trophies and new, I don't know, new moments, just everything from the players. So like, it doesn't matter how much you win. Like once the new season starts, it's like, you have to go again. There's no bigger challenge than playing for one of these two teams, Madrid or Barcelona. So why he would leave as well. Like, I don't know, new country, new trophies to win. But ultimately, if he'll be judged on winning Champions Leagues. It happens to Bayern Munich. Like that, for me, I would be more content if he went to the Premier League, because over there you have so much competition. You have to treat the league on the same level as the PSG, Bayern Munich, Juventus. You win the Champions League, or you know, you're regarded as like, oh, you fell short. So for me, if he doesn't win at least one Champions League, he's going to be okay. He's won, he's putting up a fight recently. I just don't think it's for a player like him.
Yeah, but I'd also say not just the new challenge, but I reckon the Ballon d'Or is a big pull. I mean, he hasn't won one yet. I reckon he has more chances of winning a Ballon d'Or at PSG, where he's really the star. I mean, PSG have star players like Verratti, um, Cavani as like a lead striker, but in terms of the ultimate star, you're looking at Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Pogba to an extent, Neymar. I mean, the superstar players are Neymar, Ronaldo, and Messi. And some of that attraction was gone from Neymar because of how good Messi was. And not a lot of people appreciated just how special a talent Neymar actually is, because Messi stole the spotlight sometimes, whereas in PSG, it's just going to shine so brightly on him. But one of the things that you mentioned there is he's gone to an easier league. So he's the French league. PSG is the most dominant team. The league has improved though. Lacazette's left, but his team was doing well. So it's an interesting move. It's a gutsy move. It's one of those things where you tip PSG to win the French title. So what's the real motivation then? The real motivation is to win the first Champions League title PSG has ever won, because they haven't won one yet. I was going to ask you, do you think PSG is a realistic prospect of winning the Champions League?
The minimum they should achieve is quarterfinals, and maybe I'm being a bit too nice. Probably semi-final. Before the Champions League, Madrid and Bayern, and harshly, no one. They always seem to find a way to be there. Like them collectively, and I think to win these trophies, you have to aim. So, I mean, the expectation is really high for them. I don't know if they can keep. They probably need more signings or just give a good collective team. But individually, yeah. Because I mean, look, Ronaldo gets a lot of goals, but people forget that they play for him. Like they look for him. If you go to games, because you can't appreciate this as much on television, but I've gone to, I've seen Ronaldo, like with my own eyes at the stadium at least, easily 10 times. Now, I don't want to show off here, but you do. Sorry, man, but you do see the team play for him. Like when you've got a higher view of the pitch, you do see like they tend to look for him. He's the main man, so the same thing will happen with Neymar. I just don't think they have the same. And they have a good team, don't get me wrong, but they don't have Modric, Toni Kroos. These guys, they barely miss a pass. I think you look at Toni Kroos' game yesterday. Again, I don't want to rub it in against United, but he had a passing rate of like 95%. Like that's just ridiculous. And I think he had 76 passes in total, and he only missed 3, so he completed 73. I mean, yeah, and they look for Ronaldo. Ronaldo didn't play that much, but when he plays, they look for him. So that built up his. Same thing with Messi. Like as you say, the main man, they look for him. So I just think Neymar needs probably better players around him. A few more signings. I think that will probably happen in his second year. I just think the first year. Well, then again, also I think, Jimmy, like when you think about it, like he should be demanded everything now because just the price tag itself is ridiculous. But then again, Pogba, he had an average year, and people sort of forgive him for that. So the second year, I think, is, when he has to like go out for everything. So if he doesn't win the Champions League this year, people will probably forgive him. But the following year, man, it's like, for that price tag, it's just what you expect. I mean, also yesterday, sorry, one more thing, like both teams. So how many players did they have? Yeah, 36 players in total, because you have the starting 11 and 7 players on the bench. The players that were selected that night, so last night, total cost of all of them was £900 million. Neymar alone was £200 million. So there you go.
Geez, that really puts into perspective the marketscape now that football has
ridiculous.
become.
It's just ridiculous.
Well,
I think for me,
yeah.
the most unacceptable thing is how easily players get away with what they do. So like I told you, I mean, if maybe 10 years back or 15, whatever, just players would be demanded to win everything now. And I think if Neymar doesn't win the Champions League this following season, he'll easily get away with it. And for me, honestly, he shouldn't, because it's just so much money.
Well, yeah, but the thing about PSG is that their owners, they're rich. So I think they have like stakes in petrol or something, don't they? I could be wrong, but they're just.
They do, and they know nothing about football. That's why they paid so much for Neymar. But no, jokes aside, owners, yeah, at the end of the day, they're the ones who set the goals to achieve. The media and the fans set the expectation bar, but yeah, I guess they know better than anyone what they want to achieve. But I just think we're forgetting about the fans, or they're forgetting about the fans, because although PSG fans, most of them aren't that loyal. They've only just jumped on the bandwagon. It's true. Like Real Madrid since the 1960s. They hadn't won a Champions League for like nearly 30 years, and only now they've started winning. But you know what I mean? You stay with the team through the good and the bad times. And PSG, they have history, but they haven't started winning till now. So, but I understand it.
Yeah, it's the money now that gets thrown around is, almost absurd, but this is becoming the norm. Like, when Paul Pogba's transfer was done, we were like, wow, like that's a lot of money, but now we're looking at Neymar's fee, which is, I think, almost double Pogba's. Like, it's right up there in transfer value. And we're going, just, how much money do you have to spend on these star players now? It's really becoming just a real money fest. Like, you use the term money mar. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, Neymar's.
I'm not the person out there, but everyone's using it. But but you're in Barcelona, dude. Like, other than that. So I just think really being, time with the fee in a way, because so Zidane and Fig, all these guys, then yeah, it's absurd, but it's not.
Well, yeah, and then you look at some other teams like Manchester United. They delisted Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he went to Manchester United for free. So it was a free transfer apart from the wages. And he's still, obviously, he's coming off that horrendous ACL injury. Hopefully, he has a good recovery. I mean, that's a smart transfer where, you know, he's out of contract with PSG and you get him for free. And he actually played quite well for the majority of his Man U career. It was just his injury which really told there.
Yeah, it was unlucky, but mate, like you say, you don't have to always spend big to find good players. Arsenal, I mean, Chelsea did quite poorly in the second half. But I'm talking about Eddie Shield because that was. But Arsenal have found a Kolasinac from Schalke. He was delisted as well, and he's only 24 years old, and they got him for free, and he scored a goal on Sunday. So it's just, yeah, money doesn't always get you the things you want at the end of the day.
No, and I guess Leicester City was the prime example of that, and how they did under Claudio Ranieri, who's obviously not part of Leicester now, which I found a little questionable at the time because they were actually doing quite well in the Champions League, but in the EPL they were hovering around that 10th position, just outside of it after coming off a league title win.
Oh, they were worse. They were fearing relegation. It was worse, yeah. But
yeah, so there's a lot of pressure now. Like if you do, one thing, like if you do something really good the next season and you don't quite replicate it the next, like you're under pressure, and the money there has to play a factor. But I can understand it. Think about it, Lewis. Put yourself in the PSG owner's position. You have almost all the money in the world. What player would you go for other than Neymar? Because if you went for Messi or Ronaldo, they're above 30 years of age. I'd say, though, because of Ronaldo's conditioning, I mean, he's a machine. Messi is a machine as well. They're just supremely talented, and they're still going to play well for some years yet. But you look at Neymar, he's 25 years old, so he's really coming into his prime. So from that perspective, if you're going to go after any player in the world, I reckon Neymar made the most sense, even out of Ronaldo or Messi.
No, yeah, from PSG's perspective, it was the right thing to do. Again, I just think from Neymar's perspective, the French league is not the Spanish league, and that's just a fact. You don't have to compete. Now he has to compete against Monaco. Monaco isn't Real Madrid. With all due respect, I mean they're improving, but unlike Leicester, they've actually some of their players. I was really surprised with Leicester. They kept, apart from Kante, which is a big loss, obviously, they bought in. But apart from him, they barely lost anyone. Like I thought, Mahrez would have been gone by now. Maybe Vardy as well. They've kept their squad intact almost, but yeah, Monaco hasn't. But there you go.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good point as well. The competitiveness of the actual league. There's not a Real Madrid. The equivalent of that, even though they're not quite on the level of Madrid, is PSG themselves. So it's almost like PSG is versing themselves. They're not really versing anyone else in the league. I mean, they're really in a league of their own. The finances they have. I think if they win the Champions League, though, I think that justifies PSG's ambitions. You heard even when Zlatan was at PSG, he always used to talk about these big ambitions PSG would have, and that appealed to Neymar as well. That has to involve the Champions League becoming a powerhouse team. With that, there might be a flow-on effect. So, for instance, if PSG come out and win the league, the league itself might get a bit more competitive. Not necessarily with PSG, but from like 2 to 6 or so. Because at the moment, there's only a few teams in the French league that are really challenging. You mentioned Monaco, PSG, and
I mean, Nice of Balotelli's there, and they've signed Schneider. I mean, yeah, he's a veteran, 34 years of age, but yeah, good signing. I mean, they're improving. For me, again, I just think they're using Neymar as they're like on a transition phase. They're using him to ultimately bring in more players. Like, you know how in the A League they bring Del Piero and you name it, any player to sort of wanting to attract more players. That's what PSG are doing. I thought Neymar would want to go there when the league is actually right on the spotlight. And it's not. Like, the spotlight is going to be on him, not on the league, because there's just no competition. Like, in terms of expectation, maybe Monaco will put up a fight again. You never know. But it's just, mate, it's unfair.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's his decision. So he decided to go to PSG. So he must have weighed all this up. So, you know, the competitive level, the Ballon d'Or must have been a personal ambition of his as well. He hasn't won one yet.
No.
And you could argue that, you know, if Messi and Ronaldo weren't there, he could have possibly won at least one Ballon d'Or by now. So with PSG, he's kind of separating himself a little bit from Messi and Ronaldo, off to a different country, and he really is the star man at PSG. But it's a double-edged sword, because at the same time he's a star man, but PSG, there's a lack of competition in France in the football league, not because they don't have like good consistent teams, but because PSG is so far ahead that
no, and I just think
what winning a league is like, you know, it's great to win a league, but when PSG is doing it quite comfortably, it's not really a challenge.
No, it's not worthy of a Ballon d'Or. And like you said, it's just he's going to need to really, you know.
So, Luis, what do you think Neymar will have to do if he wants to win a Ballon d'Or? He have to like score lots of goals, you know, be the league's top scorer. Does he have to win like, you know, every single title? How does he stand out?
Well, I mean, he's going to be thereabouts in terms of top goal scorer, because I'm sure Balotelli will get his goals. Falcao has adapted now. He had a bad season when he got sold from United. But I think just winning the league minimum, winning the cup, and Champions League, man, he just, for me, this is my personal opinion. He's got to be demanded to like make the final at least. His team to do it. I mean, I'm changing sports here quickly, but Allen Iverson, he carried the Philadelphia 76ers to an NBA Finals, and everyone counted them out because they were like, "Oh, he doesn't have the players around him." I know he has Thiago Silva and good players around him, but how many of them are actually, you know, top players that Bayern Munich would want? So yeah, that's my expectation. Obviously, people will judge differently, but we'll see.
Yeah, you know, it depends what your criteria is, because, you know, football fans have, you know, not, you know, some football fans, they can, you know, have short-term memory. Like, this is not just in football, but in any sport, really. You kind of just look at the successes, and then, you know, you kind of forget them after, you know, 2 months if the team isn't doing well. So this is something that Neymar will have to contend with. Like all the spotlight's going to be on him, and he's going to be judged every single day in the French league. Like there's no escaping the spotlight. Like he could escape it a little bit at Barca because, you know, Messi, Suarez, and just in general how the culture of Barca themselves. He is PSG almost. Like at the moment, when you think of PSG, it's Neymar. Like,
nice. The first player everyone's gonna think of, the leader, everything. So yeah, I understand. I mean, if he cherishes that, if he likes that, then I understand the move. But I think about Bale, for example. Like when he was still in Barcelona, they compared him to Bale, and I just looked at the differences and kind of like Neymar wanted to get some of the spotlight. Bale, since he's come over, like he hasn't. I thought he would want that as well, to like be the main man or aspire to be that. And he's said it a few times, but he doesn't actually show that he cares or he wants to. And then, you know, just quietly, he's won 3 Champions Leagues in 4 years. Honestly, like some players really don't care. You either cherish it or I think you cherish it, you don't want it, or you don't care. And Bale either doesn't care or doesn't want it because, yeah, that's just who he is. And Neymar seems to want it, so I understand the move. But I'm not sure I wish him luck. But he's gonna need it because so much pressure, man. Like obviously the money he gets with it, but it's a short life, man. And I mentioned Juan Mata to you because I thought he timed it perfectly. He announced it on the same day as Neymar's signing to donate. I know it's only 1% of his salary, but I found this stat that you know, he's trying to get other players involved, and if Neymar donated 1% of his salary each week, that's already £5,000.
whoa.
And that's 1% of the salary. So he's going to get paid what, 500,000 a week?
Well, there you go. I mean, you recall David Beckham? Like he donated, I think the entirety of his PSG wages, to charity as well, or to some endeavor. And yeah, even just 1% of Neymar's, you know, enormous, you know, over 500,000 pounds per week wage. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just a speck of dust. You know, you can just flick it to whatever charity you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you, you know, I think I want to believe players do things and they don't publicly tell us. So I'm going to give players the benefit of the doubt there. But at the same time, I think nowadays it's like, well, what do you do with it? Like, honestly, it's like you read so many things. It's like, oh, they get paid this amount of money a week, which equivalates to something euros a second. You can imagine a player collecting the coins as they come down. It's like, what do you do with it? It's like you don't have enough time to put it in your wallet. Just the money keeps pouring down on you. It's true though. But anyway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm personally happy that he's left because great footballer, but his personality, it's like Luis Suarez. Some people, there's obviously, you know, different opinions within the same club. And we used to say, oh, we want Aguero or we want Luis Suarez. It's like, oh, I don't want that player for my club. So I wouldn't want Neymar for my club. I mean, that's just my opinion. Great talent, but yeah, he just needs to put a team together now, like I said. Otherwise, I can't see him in this league.
So what about Neymar's personality do you not like? I mean, I agree with you. Some of the really like top class players, they can have this kind of arrogance around them, but also that can also be a benefit because, you know, they're that confident that they have the ability on game day to try things that other players wouldn't do. So Neymar, his skill moves, 5-star skiller, obviously.
No, what I mean by Neymar is when I'll always remember this in a Super Cup, maybe last year, they were winning by 2 goals. I think closing, there wasn't enough time for Bilbao to make a comeback. Yeah, he just did all these dribbles, backs, and it's like, what's the need for that? Like you've won the game. I don't know. It's like in basketball how they don't shoot when the clock is running down and you've already won the game.
Mm.
Those kind of things are just, I wouldn't want players like that in my team. That doesn't just go for Neymar. It goes for a lot of players, but for me, I appreciate other players more than Neymar, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I understand what you mean there. And obviously at Barcelona, you also had Sergio Busquets, who, although he's, in my opinion, he's a good, solid player in the midfield, sometimes he would, carry on a little bit to get that free kick when it wasn't really there. And, with Ronaldo is criticised a little bit too, but I've been a fan of Ronaldo since, obviously I'm a Man U fan, so I followed his career quite extensively. And at Man U, he's always been a real competitor. Like, he hates to lose. And like, I think a lot of that can be explained as to why he throws these tantrums. I mean, when Ronaldo was pulled off the bench, was pulled to the bench a couple of times to get a rest or something by Zinedine Zidane, he was furious. Like he just hated it. He just did not want to be on the bench at all.
He doesn't mind now, but yeah, I could mention him too. It's just, then again, I think he's not the type of player that would do it first. He just falls in the trap of, oh, someone does it to me, I'll do it back. And that's obviously not good either, I just see Neymar as the one who would do it first. As I mentioned, in a Super Cup, he would bully around defenders, and it's like, well, what's the point? I understand if you're doing it in a crucial moment of the game, I don't know, to find a winning goal, but what's the point of doing it there, No, I could mention a lot of players. We could spend hours doing it, but because we're talking about Neymar, I'm happy that he's left. I think he's made it easier for us to win the league. Probably more pressure around Madrid to win it now because people think it's easier. I think it's easier, but I think they still have a good team. Don't get me wrong. It's just a shock move. Like, we never thought over here it would happen, but he wanted the spotlight, obviously.
So, some teams, though, after they lose a star player, they can actually kind of rejuvenate and, come out better than you expected. Obviously, there's a gap there that has to be filled by Barcelona. So one of the wing positions has to be filled in. I'm not sure if Deulofeu might. He had a loan.
Everton, they need either a player to come back or sign a new player, because the ones they have, Alcácer, like, no, just why did they even sign him in the? I think honestly, they need to fill it in. They can't do it with their current players. My view. They might have a different view, but they have so much money to spend now. I think it would be really silly if they don't bring anyone in. Just you have that much money to spend now. But with the current players they have, I don't think they can fill in that left wing. So we'll see what they do.
I think Dembele is the perfect replacement. I think he makes a lot of sense. Well, not the perfect replacement. I'll rephrase that. He can't be the perfect replacement because he's so young. So when you're coming into a Barcelona squad and you haven't competed at the level of La Liga, you have to give some way to that. But he's such a talent, man. Like, he's a little bit taller than Neymar.
No, I've seen him, and look, the German league isn't that bad. Like, I would put it as the it's fairly close to the Spanish league. I think what the Spanish league edges out a lot of leagues because we do really well in Europe recently.
Yeah.
Like we've won the last 4 Champions Leagues. Sevilla has won the Europa League the last couple of years. But German league is competitive, man. And if you're playing for Dortmund, you know who you have in front of you, Bayern Munich. So now he's young, but he's faced competition. Might happen, that signing. Or it should happen for Barcelona because again they need that position to be. They either change the system to a 4-4-2 with Messi and Suarez, or keep the 4-3-3, but they need to bring someone in.
Yeah. So do you reckon if they went 4-4-2, they'd lack a bit of punch just behind the striker? Because Messi's really good creatively as well as that kind of number 10 type player. Even though he didn't necessarily play that. Like sometimes he'd go into the middle, and with the quality of Messi, he can do whatever he wants. I think it's risky if you go 4-4-2 and you just put Messi striker. If you look at when he played for Argentina, sometimes he'd have to be that star man, and some of his performances lacked as a result in Argentina. And I feel as though, yeah.
Inexplicably, though, may I add, because they have plenty of strikers, Argentina. So, yeah, inexplicable for me. But a lot of people always mention that, yeah, he has to like win a World Cup or something big with Argentina. They're probably right because they've had good players for many years. But I just think now, because they've lost such a goal-scoring threat, because Neymar is, he can score whenever he wants. He's such a good dribbler. Just how do you stop him unless you foul him? But I just think they've lost it. So unless you bring in another, Messi's unstoppable when he has 2 goal-scoring options, one at either side of him, because you don't know who he's going to give it to. You don't know whether he's going to dribble past you or give it to someone else. But now, because he only has Suarez, I think it's very obvious who he's going to link up with. Because who else do they have now?
Yeah,
to score the goals.
Yeah, no, they have to bring someone in. Yeah, if they still had Pedro, he's someone who could, he's not like a superstar player, but he fills that role.
Alexis, if they had him.
Yeah. So there are many, but they've kind of lost a bit of depth now with the loss of Neymar. And it's something that you have to feel because, Real Madrid have a lot of depth. You talk about the likes of Kroos, Modric, but then you have to look at Mateo Kovacic. What a player he is. Coming from Inter, a little bit of a slow start, but then I really like Kovacic because he's really quick with the ball. He's not one of these slower midfielders. He not only is he really creative, but he can dribble. So he's like a winger in a midfielder's body, or maybe the other way around. I don't know, but you get my point. He's just a really multi-talented player, and I feel as though Barcelona is lacking that a little bit. Suarez and Messi are in their 30s as well, so they have to plan. This transfer sum that they've got is crucial. They need to get players that are adequate enough to cover Neymar's loss. You can't do that one player, so you have to get a couple in.
Obviously with the money they've gained, they should be able to bring. Although people say that Coutinho and Dembele combined would surpass Neymar's fee, but even so, man, like it's Barcelona we're talking about. They have huge spending power. They just haven't, for my pleasure, they haven't signed that well the last few years, and we've made them pay for it because Madrid's squad is unbelievable. Like we're covering back, but that's because we just love Marcelo, and we sometimes put Nacho in there, but wherever you look, we have the positions covered. Like it's ridiculous. And we've sold James, and he's like, so no, we we just bring
Yeah.
someone else in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and not
can't
only is it,
complain.
and Danilo as well, the Brazilian
Yeah, we
right back
sold him. We sold him though.
to Man City. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that's what I was saying. Yeah. So, I mean, but that's an indication of how much depth there was in the Real Madrid squad. The fact that Danilo went to Pep Guardiola, obviously that Barcelona.
Yeah, and also even if we sell, you have to take into account the type of deals that we make. Like when we sold Morata, he had that incredible spell at Juventus, and on the deal was like, if we, if we're happy with Morata's development, we'll get him back, and you have like no option to keep him. Juventus, this was, and obviously he's come back to Madrid, and he hasn't had that many opportunities to be fair to him, but he just couldn't surpass Benzema's quality and yeah, number of goals that he was scoring, and we've sold him to Chelsea. But just the deals that Madrid have made recently, I honestly can't complain. And yeah, being paid off now, been rewarded with the trophies.
Yeah, isn't it funny sometimes how time can change so quickly, or rather success can? Because a few years ago, Barcelona was like the lead team of the world. Like they were really on a tear, but now uh, Real Madrid have really come back, and it takes a lot of resilience for teams to come back, especially at the top. Um, with the likes of Ronaldo, probably going to win the next Ballon d'Or, not just with his involvements at Real, but Portugal. They've really risen. They're the creme de la creme of not just La Liga, but of the world. And they're the team. They're the team to follow. They're the team to beat. I think one of the hallmarks of a really great team such as Real is the depth. If you have the depth, you have that luxury of to sell or to not
So,
sell. Like
to replace an injury, and that's why I think Neymar might fall short in his first year. Just PSG need to what I understand again PSG's move, because when you have a top player, players say, I want to play next to that guy. I want to learn off that guy. So this will help build up PSG's reputation, no doubt. But for him, I think he needs time. Obviously, it's just again though. Paul Scholes after the game yesterday. Paul Scholes and a few United players, they were legends. Not just any players. They were like, well, now is really the time for them to deliver. Paul Pogba, all these guys, because 1 year for that fee is more than enough to to adapt, and now is the time to produce.
yeah, no, that's exactly right. There's only so much time that you can be granted, before time goes away and all that expectation falls upon you. But good luck to Neymar. I wish him well. I think obviously you read my article there, so it was a kind of a
Yeah, it
different
was good.
slant. Yeah, look, it's a contentious one. I think when you're talking about player of Neymar's quality, I mean, I've talked about controversial like topics before. So one of the things I learned in media is you have to have a thick skin. So if you have an opinion, you have to accept that an
There's
opinion
nothing
might
wrong with
come
it.
back. Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, mate. It's very you can't. I don't think you can ever agree wholly, because you have to. Is it your type of player? French league. What do you? Is it hard enough? The fee, is it high enough? I think most of us agree there that it is high enough. Although some 1%ers think, oh no, I think you could get more for Neymar, but never enough money. It is never a lot of money is enough money, but maybe Mayweather thinks that
yeah.
he's a good link up now, but
No, maybe
yeah,
PSG needs to give out free petrol to as like a
just
as like a bonus. But
yeah, I think we all saw it coming, but then you look back at 10 years, compare it with the likes of Zidane, these historical players, and yeah, just look what the game has evolved. But I think just it kind of makes sense in a way because more people follow it more than ever. TV rights. I understand it again. I understand the fee, but it's what Barcelona were willing to pay. I mean, sorry, what PSG were willing to pay.
But
So
what's with this financial fair play? I mean, surely that comes
that's
into
silly.
what's it doing?
No, that's
What's the purpose of that?
no. It shouldn't even exist. And I can tell you this though because Platini was jailed, I think, like Blatter, because he had a part to play in the FIFA elections, and the vice president, who is from Spain, had something to do with it as well. So this whole financial fair play thing is no, it's just silly. It never is actually applied to the clubs. Like the whole point of it was, oh, you have to earn more than you spend. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Mr. Obvious. Like that's the whole point. Like that's the whole point of running a business. But yeah, it's talked about, but it's never actually applied. But again, I just think clubs, we don't realize how much they actually, like people who don't follow the sport don't realize how big a fan base these clubs have. Like wherever they go, and they're traveling to Australia more often now than 5 years ago they didn't go there, but now and US, all these countries, because you only have to look, and I know it's hard for people to believe, but you look at the news on TV when these clubs travel, and the fan base is just ridiculous. So again, I understand the fees and the money that's been moved around the game now, but that's all because the game is being promoted. And I look at other sports and they, I think soccer or football is kind of like the perfect sport to look at in terms of promoting it because it's working clearly.
Yeah, and I think the NBA model even like their player
NBA is doing better,
yeah, Stephen Curry.
Yeah, the contracts over there are getting ridiculous too. It's just a lot of sports are waking up and competing with soccer. It's all even though it's like impossible to compete, but NBA contracts for players, yeah, they're starting to rise as well. Trying to think of other sports really.
Can we
Those
change
are kind of the main
to
two.
Floyd Mayweather and
Mate, that's
Conor McGregor?
Talking about promotion, that's another one. Here to get the fan base.
Yeah.
They're getting me into it.
Yeah, so this is a huge money fight, man. I mean, we're talking millions here. Like not that millions is a lot, like that's just a vague term because in soccer you have millions as well, but
you have billions.
Yeah, there's millions, billions, and this Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight, like, I mean that's a huge fight. Like that's going to be the biggest fight in combat sports history. The legitimacy of it is questionable. It's almost like an analogy between PSG and the league. Like the league is Conor. Let's just say the league is one team, for instance, and then they're versing PSG, which is Floyd. Like, so the discrepancy of competitiveness is not quite there, but what is there is huge interest and huge promotion. To see
It's not the first time that they do this though. Like between different categories within fighting.
Muhammad Ali did it.
Yeah. No, but again, see, the media nowadays is really powerful, dude. And when you promote it, when you spend money promoting it, you get the most of the time you get the rewards and the interest. Certainly getting me interested for it, but I mean, I was already interested for the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. I was a bit disappointed with it, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, you have to know more about the sport too. I think for me, the expectation for this one is I don't think McGregor will get knocked out, as Max Kellerman thinks it's like so one-sided. And I don't see it that way because Mayweather, how many times has he actually knocked out someone? That's just not his strength. I think I've never seen someone so cocky and arrogant in a good way, like so confident about himself and what he did boxing when he was younger. So it's not like it's for him. And also, I've followed a few of the promotional events, like in Toronto and London. I've watched the videos,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's like in London. He said, you know, after I beat you in the boxing ring, you can fight me in the octagon. Didn't you hear that?
No, I did hear
Oh.
that. I watched
No,
all
no,
four
yeah, no,
press.
yeah. I mean, no, I just wanted to make sure, but no, yeah. I mean, I just think I don't see it that one side. I tell you why it's one sided because of the You're probably not gonna like it to hear it that much, but just the jury, mate, and the referees. But I all I care about is that he puts up a spectacle and he puts up a fight and that it's even. I honestly don't care that much about the result. I really don't. I mean, it, if Mayweather wins, it'll probably annoy me that he won't accept a challenge in Gon, or is he going to retire with a loss?
Yeah, it's an interesting decision there he has to make because he's not doing like a rematch with Manny. He's going for a different type of challenge, and it's a fighter who doesn't really have a professional record at all in boxing. That is in Conor McGregor. So it's very interesting in that sense. You were talking about the press conferences. Yeah, dude, I watched them, and let's be honest here. If Floyd was saying a lot of things, like you know, coming into it, if Floyd and Conor fought in the octagon, I mean, let's not even talk about the result there because Floyd would just get destroyed.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think all the attention is on McGregor in a good way, as in like, wow, he can. You know, I think people feel he's got a chance, as in like, with knockout now, probably. Mm, but people just want to see a fight, dude. I'm more keen on just seeing a fight than the actual result. Like I said, I think if Mayweather wins, I'll be disappointed that he'll probably choose not to fight McGregor. If he loses, he'll just the pressure will add up on him. You know, even though the fight was proposed by McGregor, this fight, but Mayweather accepted it, so now you have to face it. And if you lose, I just think, yeah, your reputation is kind of damaged a little bit. You know, I know it's you're losing against someone who's never really he's done it again when he was young, but he's never really done it professionally. So look, hats off to Mayweather for accepting it. But I mean, I think all the pressure is on him because if he loses this, it's losing to someone who's again like you and for that long, and he's into some. Again, I just think though that there's someone coming from boxing to MMA than the other way around. But again, yeah, Floyd, you've done it for longer than McGregor.
Yeah,
There's just really nothing else to say. It's like you should win it, but I see McGregor confident.
Yeah, he looks in good shape. I don't know if you've seen the incident with Paulie Malignaggi and Conor McGregor. So Paulie Malignaggi was a training partner or a sparring partner, and he left the gym. And we've been talking about personalities. Paulie Malignaggi could not stand Conor McGregor. Like he said, he was arrogant, and there was so much. I mean, if you go on Conor McGregor's Twitter page, right? What really ticked off Paulie Malignaggi was quite a few things, but one of them was only Conor's photographers allowed to take photos in the gym, right? And so they're going to put up favorable photos for him. Paulie Malignaggi is a two-time, he's retired, but two-time world champion in boxing. and they have a picture of Conor McGregor. He's up, and Paulie Malignaggi is on the ground, looking like he's been knocked down. But it turns out to be that was a push down, and that was not an actual knockdown. So a push down is when, it's not a knockdown. It's, you can lose your footing, you get pushed to the ground. But Conor made it so it seemed as though he knocked down a two-time boxing world champion in Paulie Malignaggi, and he left. He left the gym because he was irate with anger. And you know what the caption said? It was something like that, oh my God, power or something. It was just a push down.
I just think he's really smart, confident, arrogant, and he just manages to get the crowd involved like no one I've ever seen, really. Because I mean, what? And against Nate Diaz, he has a fight left, the trilogy. Yeah, he has to complete it. I mean, what? Who's this other guy he beat in the octagon? Remind me, Jono. The 30-second knockout.
Jose Aldo.
Yeah, Jose Aldo. I just seem capable, dude, of withstanding the 12 rounds, don't you?
I think in 12 rounds, Floyd has I think it just goes to Floyd, the endurance side of it. I don't think Floyd can knock Conor McGregor out. He hasn't knocked out anyone for quite a while. That's not Floyd. Dominic Cruz, an MMA an analyst, I'm going to copyright from him because he's really smart in terms of fighting. And he said the first 6 rounds, Conor McGregor has a real chance of doing some damage to Floyd. Not in terms of tactically, but the power that Conor possesses is huge. And he's a bigger guy. Like, you looked at those press conferences, Conor has the reach, Conor has the youth, and Conor is a larger guy.
His head is too small.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Oh God, I wonder what he's going to do. 12 rounds. I can't see Conor winning a decision. Floyd is just too experienced, too good.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking he can withstand the 12 rounds.
How do you mean by withstand? The damage or?
Yeah, just everything. Just like maybe endurance, maybe not. I have quite a few doubts there, but in terms of damage, yeah, because he's just bigger. He'll do damage to Floyd, I think.
Yeah,
not to knock him out, but he'll do damage.
Yeah, to answer your question, I think he will withstand 12 rounds. He can definitely go the 12 rounds. It's just, I think if it lasts that long, though, Floyd will be quite dominant.
He won't win,
Yeah.
No, I think the expectations of him winning from my side aren't that big, but I'm just happy to see, the show. If it can hurt Mayweather, I'll be very happy. But no, it'll come down to the judges, dude, and that's why Mayweather, I think he damages his own reputation, dude. Like, of course he works hard, but I think you have to just look at the press conferences. People don't like him.
Yeah, I mean, the press conferences were crazy. Like, the very first one, Conor just kind of strolled in, because it's not a UFC production, it's a Showtime production, and they're quite different. So he had to go on the cuff, and he was really good there. Whereas Floyd kept on repeating kind of the same things over and over and over again.
Hard work.
Yeah, hard work, dedication, hard work. We're punching the easy work then. It's so repetitive. But Conor was creating new content, so Conor was a boss. But at the end of the day, it's a boxing fight, and the talk goes out the window. Or does it? Does Conor get in Floyd's head and just starts talking all this crazy stuff that Floyd's never seen before, and then Conor KOs him with a flying head kick, and he's disqualified. So There's a lot of
I
there's a
think a
lot
lot
of
of people
ways.
would pay to see that. I think we would all pay to see that. But
He gets sued. He gets sued. They're actually gonna do a lawsuit if he does something like MMA related. Like it's in the contract, like that. He can't. Otherwise, he's gonna get sued. So, um, it would cost him a hell of a
yeah,
lot of money.
yeah, probably he probably won't do it. But it's just I don't. He has nothing to lose though, in a way. Obviously, he doesn't want to get sued, but if he loses, you know, he's used to losing. Like when Mayweather in one of the press conferences, he was rubbing it in on him the fact that he quit, he tapped out in a fight, and obviously you can't tap out in boxing. So I think he's made the right decision, McGregor, for himself, just to get more spotlight attention. The wins, the rewards are massive for him because then I feel like Mayweather would have to fight in an octagon. His fans would want to, even his. I think his own fans would want to just. I mean, some of them. I wouldn't say all of them, but Mayweather fans, they would hate seeing him losing, just like see his streak end. So,
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
it's like the Undertaker, except it's like real. Like he had that streak at WrestleMania, and he's trying
Basically,
to
man.
yeah, he's trying to preserve the streak. He doesn't want like a Roman Reigns or someone like that to wreak havoc on the streak. So
But I just think a loss sometimes every now, I think it's a saying really for life. I think when you take a hit, it's how you get back up, and I think Mayweather needs one because he's too cocky, man. Like, uh, he deserves credit, obviously, but it's just I don't like his style again. Different, we all have different views, and we can disagree on. He doesn't land that many punches. He runs around the ring too much. See if that's okay, but people want to see knockouts every now and then, and
yeah, they want to see
I
Mike
think my
Tyson.
yeah, they want to see a few ears eaten, but no, that's too extreme. But I liked it, but I don't know. I'm going for McGregor. We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole mistake of the fight. Like no one, like even like really, professionals, like, they don't know what's going to happen because McGregor is keeping everything really secret. Only his photographers are allowed in the gym, like to take photos.
Yeah, I think he does the right thing with that because again, he did box when he was young, but he's never been a professional, so we don't really know what he's got up his sleeve. We just know that left fist of his, but and everything is done in the octagon. But yeah, I think he does well to keep it secret and hide it because it just builds up the excitement.
Yeah, I mean that left hand is a bazooka, but his right hand is like a pistol. Like there's a difference in terms of power, and obviously you're going to have that. It's like in soccer, you have your preferred left foot, and your right is kind of on the side. But
Yeah, you use it to steer and to guide the other one.
yeah,
So
yes, but Connor needs more than just a left hand to do damage to Floyd, because Floyd's been around too long. Manny Pacquiao had a great left hand. And when it did land, Floyd he got startled by Manny. I think quite a few people forget because they look at Floyd, kind of running around the ring, kind of being creative.
look, he landed punches, but I just think no, people are just pissed off at the the jury's decision, dude, because I just think Pacquiao, the ones that landed, he landed better. But no, it was even. It was even. I wouldn't say nothing. What Mayweather won by what 6 points, 5 points. I mean, it was a close one. But and then people are just annoyed that he keeps on winning, dude. But yeah, he manages to find a way. and the contracts and everything. It's on his terms. There's nothing McGregor could have done about the contract on this one, because to get a fight with Mayweather, coming from a different sport, even though it's fighting, is already a reward for McGregor. Just look at all the attention he's getting.
Yeah, and it goes right down to the gloves as well, like what kind of gloves you want. And Conor's really the B side here, because
Yeah,
he kind
but
of just
Mayweather
has.
said something about the size of the gloves recently, didn't he?
Well, it's a bit of a joke. I mean, he's in the press conference. I think he said. So they're fighting with 10-ounce gloves on.
Yeah,
So
I mean, what sign of
that
contract is what's going to be in the end.
yeah. So that's boxing gloves, right? And in UFC they have, I think, like 4-ounce type gloves, so that they're quite smaller. And Floyd's like, let's fight with 4-ounce gloves, and I'm like, Floyd, don't say something you wouldn't do. Like like you get
Well, he
you
does that
get
quite often, though.
yeah. Oh well, yeah. I mean, he does, doesn't he? But with 10-ounce gloves, some say that might hinder the power of Conor McGregor. I don't think so. I think Conor's
It's too fast,
left
man.
hand. Yeah, yeah, he's quick. I mean, that's some things that get fighters like Nate Diaz, Eddie Alvarez, when he won the 2 titles.
Yeah, he's got a pending fight with Nate as well, doesn't he?
Well,
After
look,
this.
he's Nate Diaz is an interesting one because he's kind of waiting, I think, for McGregor or
To finish, or yeah.
well, he's not really doing anything, Nate. Like he's not really fighting. Like he's had those 2 money fights, and he's kind of ridden off into the sunset and nowhere to be seen or heard. But Conor McGregor, he's constantly stepping up his game, stepping up to new challenges. He said, straight after the Floyd fight, I want Khabib Nurmagomedov undefeated in the UFC, like 24-0 or something like that record in Russia, in his hometown. I mean, that's a fighter. That's a fighter. Unlike Floyd,
Mate, I think what's left of him in that fight is do it in front of Putin.
Oh, mate, like just get
I just love his I don't give a stuff mentality. I'll face anything.
yeah.
But that's because he's lost. That's why he said it. He said, was it promoting the Aldo fight, and he did in Toronto as well. I think he said, or Diaz, one of these fights, and he's like, oh, they said I couldn't do it back then, and I proved them wrong, and they're saying the same thing now. Yeah, I just think, dude, because you lose, your mind losses. I think losses are good for you. Like, obviously, it's amazing if you can go undefeated, but you get to a point where, boy, most of the time they're so cocky, and obviously give him credit, Mayweather, for what he's done, but I think a loss would be good for him.
Who do you think's more cocky though, Mayweather or McGregor?
Mayweather easily, dude, because he hasn't lost. He doesn't know what it's like to lose. McGregor is more humble, as in like, I'll take anything. He's got confidence, dude. It's the difference between cockiness and confidence. And McGregor is confident because he knows what it's like to lose. He knows what it takes to go back up to the top. He's like, after my loss against Nate Diaz, I bounced back. I just see him. I admire him more because of that. Not taking anything away from Mayweather, but just his attitude doesn't attract me as much. Because most of us, we go through bad times. Has Mayweather ever gone through a bad time? Honestly.
Well,
come on.
Look, you raise a good point. I mean, he is 49-0, and the taste of defeat is not quite there. However, he did. This was a while back. He did win a bronze medal at the Olympics. So he, I think that was before he turned pro or something. So he in that sense, he was quite upset there. Like, that's the only real time like you see him like defeated, and he said, I'm going to take my bronze medal, go home, and I can't stand this boxing anymore. I've got to turn pro. But that was when he's very young. So, he's full.
But I think for someone as patriotic as McGregor, because he's also very he really loves his own country, and you can tell that as well. He always mentions the Irish wherever he goes, but I think for most people, if you win a bronze medal, you will be quite proud of that, or proud, just happy about it. And
Yeah, but I think in this case, so Floyd believed he should have won uh, like a particular fight that may have boosted his like medal to
points,
silver or
really.
gold, or yeah, so like judging type stuff. But
I
you
know, but
know,
I think for the normal human being, a bronze medal isn't
yeah,
that lot. It's the
I
Olympics,
mean,
man. But
yeah, I mean that's something that you know, some sports athletes just, want to have, like, that, the Olympics, was it like that was a real thing, like a decade ago. Like, it became really in vogue when Usain Bolt, won gold medal after
yeah,
gold
look,
medal.
but for example, you bring up Bolt. He came third bronze in the World Championships like 2 days ago in the 100 meters. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if well, you probably heard of it.
No, I did follow it. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't give a damn, dude. Like, so it's kind of got to do with your personality. And obviously, when you've won that much and you only get a bronze, yeah, you've gone down, but you haven't, by far, it's not the worst thing that can happen to you. You know what I mean? It's, again, not like McGregor. He hit like the lowest point you can hit. He was fighting in front of what, 500 people or even less. And then he's like, "Oh, look at me now! I'm fighting. I'm going to be fighting this fight. Who could have thought of this 3 years ago, 4 years ago?"
Yeah. I mean,
Boy.
he's a legend. He is a legend, Conor McGregor.
I think most of us relate more to him. That's all. But we'll see what happens, dude.
Yeah. I mean that, that relatable, aspect. Certainly, yeah, the Irish pride. He definitely represents his country. Um, I think in fairness, so Connor has a bit more of an advantage in that sense because Irish, America has a lot of great fighters. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I mean, the list goes on
Yeah,
and
he's
on.
the only national hero. Like when my sister
Yeah.
was there, he was everywhere in the papers, on the streets. Just everyone was rooting for him. Just now in July, she went. And, yeah, I asked her and she told me, yeah, he's everywhere. A big,
Did you
big
see him?
expectation. Nah, because I don't. I don't think he would be in Ireland, would he? Maybe. Nah, but she didn't see him. I mean, she doesn't follow it as much as we do. But I did ask her about it, and dude, he's already a national hero just for taking on the challenge. But we'll see on the 26th. Discussing.
Well, yeah, it's coming up soon. So I'm just going to have a look at my laptop here to see what the date is. So the date in
Ninth to
Melbourne is the 9th of August. I think in Melbourne it's like 27th of August
yeah.
because uh,
No, it would be on the 26th as well. Sorry, 27th. Yeah.
yeah, 27th. Yeah.
No, we
Um,
might find another date, dude. Like I'm running out of lunchtime here now, but no, we'll talk through it, or you can post more articles. We can't wait for it.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it was a good chat. We haven't done one of these for a
Yeah,
while,
I
so it was
was looking forward.
yeah, it was good to actually like get one going. But thanks, Lewis, for joining, and I hope you, the audience, liked it. And let us know in the comments who you think will win,
One,
Connor or.
one that who won the fight or the debate today?
And with that, we are out.